Alright guys, this is Shane with T3 Studios, and we're going to talk about the Gigabyte HD 78. Wait a minute, I had the wrong box, didn't I? Well, you know what, this card is going to be in this video, so let's just set that off to the side. There it is. Oh, look at that. There is the Gigabyte GeForce GTX 970 G1 Gaming Edition GPU. Why did I confuse the two? Probably because that one, HD 7870, which is 2012, I think, is when it released. I have no problem with using that card over this card. I know, right? That's, oh, it's crazy. It's 100% accurate. This card, which is now in my wife's build, this card runs great. I thought when I was going from this card, HD 7870 by Gigabyte, WindForce, as the 3 fans. I thought when I was going from this card to this card, I thought there was going to be, oh yay, everything is so much better. It's not. It's a good card. Don't get me wrong. This new G1 970 is a good card. But I'll tell you what, for getting maybe 5 to 10 frames per second more over my HD 7870 and being a brand new 970 card, one huge drawback, and people are going to say it's a power supply, it's something else, RMA the card, there's something else wrong with it. No, I had an Asus Strix 970. Yeah, I'm getting off topic. Yep, I'm getting off topic. Let's go back. Good card. Problem with it, COIL whine. COIL whine. Okay? COIL whine and the fans. The fans pulse. COIL whine is the big deal. This card right here ran Battlefield 4 on average about, with vertical sync off and everything else maxed, ultra settings, it was getting around, I think, 90 frames per second. Which is really good. You can game at 90 frames per second, right? Yeah, most of us can. But the problem, or the good thing about this card, you didn't hear it. I didn't know what COIL whine was until I got this card. This card, everyone's like, hey, if you get an HD, if you run an AMD, it's so much hotter. It's so much worse than these guys, and you're gonna have to sell a kidney to pay for the electric bill because of AMD. Bull crap. This card is a good card. It's nice. The back plate and the metal shroud on it is awesome. It looks great. The problem with this card is COIL whine. I had to enable, through the NVIDIA control panel, adaptive vertical sync to get the COIL whine to stop. Alright? Now during normal, when it's just idling, there is no COIL whine, but when you get high frames per second games happening, which is above 60 frames per second, if you're playing at 120 frames per second, this card has COIL whine. And it's not just this card, it's all 970s. Now you might have gotten lucky and don't have one, or your system can't run above 120 frames per second. I'm about to get attacked because yes, everybody, this card, the COIL whine from this card drove me nuts, and the only way I could stop it was with adaptive vertical sync in the NVIDIA control panel. The problem I have with that is that forces you to play at 60 frames per second. I could do that on this card, and it was quieter and didn't get as hot. 2012, 2014, 2 years difference here. AMD, NVIDIA. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Adaptive vertical sync. Then the pulsing. These cards, this card didn't do that. Okay, this AMD card did not do that. But the fan set up on this at 34% at idle has a pulsing vroom, 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 vroom sound. And I have a Fractal Design R5 case, a silent case. This thing is horrible. It sounds horrible. Everything about the noise coming off this thing is just horrible. I love the card, but going back, I would not buy this card again. I would not buy any 970s, any 9 series card at that. I spent my own money. I didn't get this shipped to me for review. I spent my own money on this card, and it's a great card, except for the fact that you have to run with adaptive vertical sync on to get the coil whine to stop. And it's not my PSU. I just got a brand new EVGA right here. Where'd it go? EVGA G2 850 watt Gold Series PSU. And before that, I had a Hive from Rosewell, a Hive 750 Bronze Series. It did the exact same thing. So that PSU is not it. It's the card architecture. It's how it's designed. A horrible, horrible feature. Would I get this card again? No. No. Not because it's a crap card. I wouldn't get this card again because compared to this one, which is in my wife's, there's no benefit. There's none at all. I don't, for regular use. Now, if you try to get into numbers, you'll get better numbers out of this card. But for regular use, and forcing me to use adaptive vertical sync to make this to where it's not loud is ridiculous. And I don't think that the normal consumer, when buying this card, is going to be happy about the fact that they've got to do all that extra work. So this card, good card, but just the way it's designed, the sounds coming off this card are horrible. I would not recommend anybody going out and buying this series of card. Now, you might have gotten lucky and yours isn't doing it. Great, I'm happy for you. But I can tell you right now, I've had 3 cards actually. I got 2 of these for SLI at one time, and before that I'd gotten a single Asus Strix 970, which was, I would rather go back to that than this, which was a good card. It had a slight coil whine, and I thought, man, that I can't have that because my other card didn't do that. It's got to be a problem. So I sent it back and went with these because I was thinking Gigabyte, I had it, great. No, that Asus Strix beat the crap out of this, in fact, that it was still quiet. When it was idling, the Asus Strix did not run the fans. You don't realize that until you're trying to do a silent thing. You don't realize that until you put something like this that you constantly hear. Even out of my Fractal R5 Design Series titanium brand new case, this thing does a constant vroom, 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 vroom. Drives me nuts. All right. We'll see you guys later. This is Shane with T3 Studios. Don't call me, I'll call you.